Today we watched Adam Sandler's The Cobbler to see if it holds up.
Let's jump into the sand pit.
Welcome back to the Sharehouse. Here's the plot of The Cobbler in 30 seconds. Take it away, Joel Harris.
The Cobbler is a film starring the Sandman and the mighty Steve Buscemi. It's about a cobbler who transforms into other people when he puts their shoes on. This isn't going to be problematic at all. He does some real goofy stuff and gets caught up in a convoluted mess of a story that we wish we could explain to you. This one was definitely a movie that starred Adam Sandler that was not enjoyed by the general public or critics.
We play a game of Adam Sandler themed bingo here at the Sand Pit. Feel free to join. The cards are below in the description. Here are our bingo cards this week.
Yeah, it's the first time that I have not scored bingo in an Adam Sandler movie.
And I did, you I feel a champion. What are you on, 3? And this is my first bingo. To be fair, one of my slots was the free space in the middle, but by George, will I take it? I will take it.
So you only got 2 squares as well, huh?
I had 3 all up, so.
Okay, what were yours?
My bingo squares this week were the mighty Busca. Steve Buscemi made an appearance, and thank God he did.
No more than an appearance. He was there for a lot of the movie. That was a very welcome sight.
Actually. A joke about somebody's gender, and this one was low key, but I'm counting it. I'm not even gonna debate this one. Product placement. They really had an up close shot of the Sandman's New Balance shoes.
Real.
Product placement. It's a new square around here.
I thought you were gonna talk about the Coca-Cola that he kept drinking with his lunch.
Oh, okay. Well, you're just helping prove my point.
Oh, yeah, true.
That's
well
what
done.
had me bingo.
You scored bingo.
What were your squares, sir?
My squares I got a Sandler Screams. It was very distant, but I'm counting that as a scream.
Yeah.
And the second one I had was outdated word. Some fat shamey word and a little transphobe word. And that was my outdated words. Uncomfortable at times for sure.
Let's go over a general overview of the plot. So, disclaimer here. I am quite sick as watching this movie and now recording. This movie felt like a fever dream. It felt like none of it was real and all of it blurred into itself. I really couldn't discern much of it at all.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just that sick and you're going to hate me for this. This morning I was in a rush to finish it, so I put it on 1.5 speed.
What are you doing? Go home. You do not deserve to be here.
It was the last 40 minutes and it was really starting to hurt. And it took a dark turn and I thought, why is this movie so dark with such a jovial score?
Yeah. So spoiler alert for those who haven't seen the movie. The Cobbler, Adam Sandler plays a cobbler. He has a store. He discovers he has this magical sewing, leathering, a magic machine that puts new soles on shoes, and when he puts on people's shoes after he used the magic machine, he turns into the person. So he starts doing that, he starts parading around the town, he eventually gets caught up in some crime, in some gang activity, would you call it? And it just turns into this convoluted plot of trying to keep this old man in his home that the mob is going to burn down.
But they also let that take a sideline for the longest part of the movie and then just brought it back at the end. And also, they really didn't tee up. Like, this movie is based in magic, right? It's a magical world. There's law in this movie. They really didn't tee that up at the start.
Yeah.
At the start, they kind of took us back in time, and you see a great ancestor of Adam Sandler's character talk in, I believe, Yiddish about the cobbling machine that makes magic shoes, but he never ever even slightly hinted the fact that it's magic. And then it just kind of happens in the movie.
Yeah.
And it shocked me to my core when it happened. I was like, am I watching this right? Maybe that was me being sick, but it was so random to me.
No, it really asks you to suspend your disbelief. So this keeps happening, and there's bits about him, like his father nicking off, and then you learn later that the barber beside him is actually his father, as Steve Buscemi, who also got caught up in
which I called,
bad activities. Yeah, I called that too.
I wrote it down here. I said at 1:06:50 seconds, I'm calling it. Steve Buscemi is his dad. It was a lackluster performance from Adam, absolutely, and it also was just so confused in what it was, because there was this, like we were talking about a second ago, this really funky soundtrack. It was fun, it was playful.
Very whimsical, yeah.
Which we can't show to you because we'll get DMCA. But it was overlaid with some really dark moments.
Yeah, a lot of mixed tones being displayed, with Adam Sandler kind of just being a blank canvas of a man getting hit with all these different things.
Shout out to the torture scene, by the way.
Yeah, oh my
random,
god.
super dark torture scene. And then that character cut, like, what?
But also shout out to all the actors who had to play Adam Sandler when he was like wearing their shoes. Some of them did a really funny job.
Yeah. Method Man was one of the people that played Adam Sandler. Method Man was fine. Not as Adam Sandler, as himself. He plays this really hardened and dark criminal, and it touched on some really dark topics, like him beating his girlfriend, and she had a bruise on her cheek. It was super dark, and the torture. But then he'd play Adam Sandler. It really did feel like he was his first run up at Uncut Gems, and then he was like, "Nah, let's just make it a normal Sandman." Gooftacular.
It was, split between two worlds in a way, and then it ended on like a really kind of like sweet, kind of like Kingsman-esque note where Dustin Hoffman plays his father, and he's like, well, there's dry cleaners, there's hairdressers, there's all these tradespeople with these really goofy magical powers, and it's like they're driving off into like the new secret laboratory, and like, oh my god.
They were setting up the CCU for sure, the Cobbler cinematic universe, which
I would love to see that.
If this had the feel of Bedtime Stories, if you've seen Bedtime Stories, it's a kid's movie through and through, and it has a lot of whimsy and charm, and it's like a lovely film. I'm really excited to review it. That'll come up soon. Make sure to subscribe. That was a really fun movie, and they did that really well. You could believe the magic. Whereas this, they had such a dark element to it, but if it was just a fun kids movie, you would believe it out the gate.
Yeah.
But the stuff he gets up to as well while wearing the shoes, like there's this one scene that really icked the out of me.
Yeah, well, let's get into highlights and lowlights then.
Great call.
Because there are lots of odd moments throughout, and I wish it was a kids movie. It'd work as a great kids movie.
I'll start with the low light then. The low light was that he puts on the shoes of this very handsome gent that's apparently some sort of famous DJ, and he goes into this man's home, walks in on this man's girlfriend naked having a shower, proceeds to make out with the girlfriend, is about to have sex with her until he realizes he can't take off the shoes because then he'll go back to being regular old Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
So he leaves the house. It wasn't funny.
No, real creepy.
Really creepy.
Real creepy vibes.
Like, and that's where the movie just didn't know itself. It didn't know whether it was trying to be funny or creepy or scary or dark or a thriller. There was just so much being thrown at you, and it was confusing.
Yeah,
None of it complemented each other.
Like lowest common denominator stuff. Like, oh yeah, he's a hot guy. He's gonna go try seek out a hot girl, but it's like him taking advantage of people's affection for other people while posing as them.
Gross.
It's really, really gross.
Super gross.
Didn't enjoy that scene at all.
No, like because you don't really know Adam Sandler's character because he's just not really doing much. It really was.
Yeah, it could be any kind of guy. Yeah.
Whether that was the ending where he was now motivated to do good, or whether he was doing dark, it's like I couldn't tell that from what they've given us. Also, there's a scene, we talked about it off air, but Method Man, who is a black man, and Adam Sandler's playing him at one point.
Yeah.
The first thing Adam Sandler does when he puts on Method Man's shoes is goes and robs a person.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay.
It's like, this is just straight, it's one of the first like actions he takes is another person. It's like,
okay.
Great.
Straight up racist.
Glad we're playing into that fucking shitty stereotype.
Yeah. And look, I like Adam Sandler. If I were to meet Adam Sandler, I'd ask him to a game of basketball. I'd shake his hand. I'd tell him some of his movies are my comfort movies for sure.
Yeah, and he did put basketball in this one too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I really was out of it. Probably because I was watching it at 40 times the speed. I knew you'd hate that. This movie was just in my mind, a complete mess. And the problem is, I don't have that many lowlights written down, or highlights for that. It just kept happening.
See, my biggest lowlight to go up against yours as well is the only trans representation this film has is when they're being belittled and like seen as undesirable and gross. And I'm like, it's just very uncomfortable. Like it's whenever like that character comes in, it's like, I just know I'm in for some really bad jokes that do not land at all and are very, very outdated even at the time of release.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Like, I mean, it's almost what, 10 years? Maybe
10 years
ago, but still, disappointing. And Sandman, if you are watching, we love you, but mate, you can be better than this.
You can be so much better than this.
And this was
Like,
it just was the whole movie distasteful, realistically. I just didn't buy any of it. I didn't buy the magic in it. I didn't buy anyone's motives. I didn't buy the forced romance they tried to throw into it toward the end where he gets asked out on a date. I thought, okay, didn't need it, didn't want it.
The character didn't feel like they'd fit either. There's this journalist.
Yeah, she's
character.
like, what, 25 and he's like 48?
Yeah, shoehorned romance for sure.
Yeah.
There we can. I have a few highlights as well.
I do too. Please lead.
Yeah, the vibe the film sets up is nice with the kind of starts in the old timey, then the soundtrack kind of bounces around as we kind of see Sandler doing his everyday life. I liked that.
Yeah.
I liked just it started as a bit of a comfort before it got really weird.
I really liked the score. Though it didn't fit a lot of the movie, I thought it was consistent throughout, and I thought it was really fun to have a motif in an Adam Sandler movie. They were really trying for something.
Yeah.
And I thought it was playful. It was kind of Toy Story 2-esque when they're getting cleaned up by the toy maker man. It was kind of that kind of weird feel. Yeah. And it was unsettling, but cool and a bit magical. I liked it.
And did you notice how Adam Sandler is in none of the shots where the shoes are getting made? It's always like, it's probably someone else's hands doing all the crafts work. Then it cuts to a wide and he's like finished.
Would have loved to see Sandman really learn the craft for this movie.
Me too.
Method acting Sandman.
I really liked his relationship with Steve Buscemi / his dad as well. They had a really nice on-screen chemistry. That was really sweet to always see.
Another plot point that was kind of lost in this movie because there was so many going on, but Adam Sandler's mother, who was old and senile, he gave her closure by putting on the shoes of his father, and she got to have her final moments over dinner with him, and then she passed. And towards the end of that bit, he also looks in the mirror and says bye to himself as his father, because he never got that closure from his father. And I thought that was really sweet. It was a really sweet moment. I was scared. I was shit scared, to be honest, that Adam was going to kiss his own mum.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. It's like the movie is like shown that it's not below that, you know? Or it's not above that, sorry.
I saw it coming and it didn't happen. It stayed really sweet.
Yeah. I did like how, like, maybe you could buy that Adam Sandler's character is just confused and has never gotten out of his own shell. But as soon as he kills someone, the first thing he does is turn himself in straight away. He's like, I'm not built for this. I'm going to the police and turning myself in. That was like, that was refreshing to see.
Yeah.
Despite him not suffering consequences from any of the things he did before that.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, man's just turning himself in because he realizes that he's in way over his head.
But then also at the end of the movie just becomes a mastermind and concocts this scheme.
Yeah, I don't even know how to talk about that. It just becomes a big explosion of mess at the end. I'm like, you're trying to pull off some Ocean's 11 type stuff to like solve all your problems.
Yeah.
And like, sure, I guess they worked.
What a waste of having Dustin Hoffman in a movie.
I know, Dustin.
I know they do another thing together with Ben Stiller in the Meyerowitz stories, and I'm excited to see that.
I'm excited for that one too.
But my goodness, what a waste of the Hoff. There was a lot of people in this. I was like, oh man, that's just a waste of an actor in this film. I like that they went for something different. If I'm to wrap up my highlights, I like that they tried to make a more experience of a movie, but it fell completely flat.
Yeah, I agree. Well, shall we wrap up and maybe we'll pull a Hoffman movie or something?
Fingers crossed. Let's go through some ratings, final ratings.
I think overall, like, I enjoyed the whimsy of it. I wish the idea of a cobbler putting on different people's shoes, transforming into other people, was utilized better and not used as a way to make shitty, sexist, transphobic, kind of really disgusting, coercive move. Like, just so many like really grotty things. Like, you could have followed so many other different ideas, but they didn't, and we got like a weird mess of a plot where he saves this old man, and I don't know, Mac. I'll give a 4 out of 10. 4
out of 10, you say? I'm gonna have to give it a 3.
A 3. Wow.
I really didn't enjoy it. It probably was because I was sick, but at the same point, I couldn't keep up with it. I've watched movies when I was sick before and had a great time.
Yeah.
So I really just think this fell flat.
It's a real tell of a movie if you can like kind of stay awake for it, even if you're like dying.
I've never watched a movie on 1.5 speed, and I never will again.
I can't believe you did that.
I watched it normal speed last night as I was watching, and then this morning I had to wake up and finish it. I was like, I actually had time, but I was like, I don't want to do this to myself. I'm just so sick, and I didn't miss a thing. Truthfully, I didn't miss a thing. Anyways, let's pull next week's movie.
Let's hope it's better than this one. All right, time to draw, Mac. This is you.
Just give me something good.
What about decent
Punch Drunk Love!
Yes! I'm so excited for you to watch this, Mac.
Oh, a good one. I haven't seen it, and I've only heard fantastic things.
This is going to be a great time.
I'm so happy. Oh. Well, hey, subscribe and stick around because we have plenty more Sandpit to come.
Hey, make sure you tell someone you love them today.
Bye.
Bye.